I've got to resize the window. Everyone's too small. There we go. Are we live?
Yes. Welcome to the culmination of one of my least favorite award seasons in the history of we've been doing this. Never has a movie that I've disliked so much did so well than this year. I hate this award season, and I hope that I at least am able to win some points enough to stay competitive. Hi, everyone. I'm Owen. I'm your host for tonight. I'm back from a very awesome weekend at Ring of Honor. First set of Ring of Honor tapings will be airing on Honor Club this Thursday. Get ready for that. So I watched a lot of wrestling in 2 days. It was very nice. Very, very nice. And now I get greeted by this. At least my predictions are doing well, if the movies I like or not. So last night, AJ and Ashley did a recap show for SAG. And of course, I was still in Soundstage 19 watching a fantastic match between Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal against Aussie Open, which you'll be able to see on March 9th on Honor Club. As well as a fantastic match with Wheeler Yuta and Clark Connors. Anyway, that being said, hopefully you tuned in and checked that out, and we'll back tomorrow for another QA show to end the month properly. Yeah, we got one more thing other than this show to do, and it's the big one. Next Monday, we're predicting the Oscars, finally. And on top of that, as I've mentioned, I think a few times on here, 4:15, I'll be watching my final of the 10 Best Picture nominees theatrically, All Quiet on the Western Front. Which I'm very much looking forward to. And I bought my ticket to the Scream 6 3D fan showing, so I'm down for that too. So watching Creed and Operation Fortune on Friday. Nice little Disney day on Saturday before this award show. Could be kind of packed. Solutions on Sunday. Lots of cool coming.
I'm still sitting here, less than a few weeks away from the Oscar ceremony, waiting for Living to show up. I'm still no idea where the hell it is, where it's hiding. I have no idea. I really hope it's before the show, though.
Thanks, Lionsgate.
Dude, if this was 8 years ago, that movie would have shown up in Athens by now and already been gone. But it sounds to me like Athens has become a throwaway regular theater now that occasionally does things that are important.
Yeah, they've gone pretty mainstream. It's weird.
That sucks, because that theater is not built for mainstream.
Unless they're just sort of trying to pick themselves back up, maybe. And then once they've made a lot of money, they can go back to being like strictly artsy movies.
I swore I got an email recently saying that Living was coming to Athena.
That could be. I haven't even looked for a while.
I still get the emails. I still get the Drexel emails too from Columbus.
It's been so long now. I'm just kind of waiting for a digital drop.
That's fair. So, as I'm excited for Buffalo Wild Wings, and the fact that they give sci-fi on Saturday, food, and the promise of being able to stay competitive in the contest is all that's propelling me left, ladies and gentlemen. Basically because, in the immortal words that I've said so many times, I don't like this ending. And I don't. And if it wasn't for the fact that everything went the way that it did, I'd probably be a lot more excited right now knowing that one of my Hail Mary shots actually paid off at SAG, which means hopefully this Angela Bassett thing is dead and buried now. But still don't know who's going to win at this point. So at least it's a race. And yeah, didn't watch SAG, obviously didn't have a chance to. Saw results and I was like, well, I should have known. Should have known. The one thing I didn't go with, weirdly enough, I look at my Gold Derby predictions on my email, and that told me what the tail was. I had gotten everything right except for one. I'm like, that's the Viola Davis one, isn't it? And I looked up, I was like, sure enough, yes, it was. I thought it was the Jamie Lee Curtis one. I was like, no, I actually got that right. Awesome. And then I saw the yo, and I was like, great. Yeah.
Minutes. Remember how I said I mentioned this in the video yesterday, but now you're here, I'll say it again. When I said that I knew Parasite had won picture at the Oscars by the reaction at SAG in the room.
Mm-hmm.
That was you saw the results of the show.
I hated it very much. So
that was a very loud room all night. So that's, yeah, there's no question. As far as like the top two categories, there's no question where we're headed at this point. And we get to do that again today. So
Yeah. Cold open.
I mean, before we get started, I got chat for everyone. All right, Spencer Reed. The greatest beer run ever didn't sweep like some guy on Twitter said it would. Shock surprise.
I feel like that could be a joke, which I want it to be, but I'm also assuming it's real because somebody probably just said, well, he made Green Book, so he'll do it again. And I fucking hate when people do that because that's... When does it ever go that way? The closest recent one is what, NRE2?
Yeah.
There are a few other comments before the beer run one. I don't know whether they aren't on your list, Owen. I'm not
That
sure.
would be a no. Of course not. Why can't I get the comments properly?
Because Spencer first said Independence Day, and I'm trying to work out which one. I have to go to Wikipedia and find out which country celebrated its Independence Day.
Is that a joke on Independent Spirit Awards, maybe?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Jiminy Christmas.
That means Bill Pullman's doing Best Picture, right? Yeah, random facts about every nominee coming your way, kiddos. Which I don't think is every nominee because it's sort of cut off.
No.
Monica Willi is known for being the editor on The White Ribbon and called Tar the best of the best for an editor. Paul Rogers said editing Everything Everywhere All at Once had many tricky scenes, but not the ones that you thought.
I know what that's referring to because it all looks pretty tricky.
Yeah. Blair McLendon also edited The Assistant from 2019 and has really cool glasses. Blanchett's the only Australian actress to win 2 Academy Awards. And Michelle was crowned Miss Malaysia in 1983 and travelled to Australia and won several pageants including Miss Moomba and the Queen of the Pacific. And that was the previous comments before the beer run.
Going into this, my thought was, I wonder where, and this isn't necessarily a negative, but it's like, I wonder how far the chat is going to get us, because I looked over these nominees again for the first time since I think they were announced. And I realized I didn't even write anything down because it was like, if we were here and just did what we're here to do, which is predict the Spirit Awards, we can do this in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This is going to be the actual task at hand is going to be very quick.
I'm fine with that.
I just had to give myself a major crash course on most of these names, at least in TV. These, no disrespect to anybody involved, these names are a workout, but.
All right, so Spencer Reed, of course. Pacific Heights Blu-ray is here. Beautiful movie. Thanks, AJ, for the verses. Greatest movie ever.
When's that getting the Criterion Collection down?
Good God. Favorite Asian cinema movie?
That's pretty wide.
That's a very broad.
I mean, I'm sure there's like an obvious answer.
And favorite French film?
Oh my God. I mean, the first thing that jumped to my head was like Battle Royale, which is something I don't want to jump to immediately because I know there's got to be something more. There's got to be something in maybe the 50s in particular was a really great run for Asian movies. There's got to be something in there that's probably the definitive answer.
I mean, Battle Royale is the first thing popped in my head too.
As far as French movies,
No.
that's another one where it's like I don't even know how to narrow that down.
Yeah, I'm out of these conversations.
We can probably answer this like over time.
There we go. Speaking of that, I got Josie's question for tomorrow saved. So,
Asian one would probably be Parasite, and French just because I saw it in school during French lessons when it was just like getting close to holiday and like let's put a film on. For some reason, I have a hankering for Les Visiteurs, which of course was adapted into Just Visiting, which is where I first found Jean Reno. Before Mission Impossible and Leon and Ronin and all that.
Why are the Gothams called Gotham? Did Batman create them?
I'm just glad.
I would like that.
Well, yeah, I know what French is. My French one is Beauty and the Beast, the 1946 one. The Asian's so wide. I don't. Yeah, that's gonna take time.
If so, does the Batman not sweeping this year? Does the Joker bear the blame?
Well, of course, the big problem is the Gothams are independent, and is Wayne Trek truly independent? I'd say it's
Definitely
mainstream.
And the new Joker was too busy winning his BAFTA to do anything else. So.
That is fair. This past weekend did. Yes.
Just like in the Batman, the Riddler gets fuck all.
BS, say the least. This past weekend did rewatch Puss in Boots. Didn't like the first time back in 2020. I liked it the second time. Kurosawa's Akira, which I felt bored with. The first Avatar, which I did like. Reed said, jeez, why don't I just call you? Why do you call your last name? It's gym class all over again, Spencer. Sorry about that. Spencer says, I think Brendan Fraser winning it all might be my greatest head scratcher. I think Aronofsky is a kook. I look at my head, I thought he said Aronofsky is a work, which is hilarious to me. And Weirdo, not in a good way. Noah and the Whale are terrible, in my opinion.
Noah did feel pretty shit, but I've always wondered if it needed a rewatch or not. Because I don't think it was the movie I was expecting it to be, and that's what my problem was. So I need to give it more of a fair shot, probably. After I give it a fair shot, then I'll hate it for real.
To me, Aronofsky's never reached the level. Aronofsky's never reached the level of Requiem for a Dream or Wrestler. They're the sort of two high points.
I didn't
get The Fountain.
Really don't.
I didn't get
I did a whole
Mother!
video on. I don't even need to say this because I did a whole video talking about this. I don't know what the hell happened with me in Black Swan. The first 3 times were phenomenal, and then after a few years away from the awards season it was in, I just got nothing out of it.
Yeah,
I could barely stand it.
I mean, for me, it should probably be the same, but it still holds up. Brian says the first Top Gun, don't tell Parsnip Burger that I liked it, but I do. It's not great. Some scenes were kind of pointless, and I wish there were more Charlotte scenes, because Charlotte is hot.
Oh, might I direct you to Witness?
Dear God. Brian also mentions the Spirit Awards are being hosted by Hassan Minhaj, some TV mark, I'm guessing.
He's I think he's a comedian.
No.
He did
Isn't he?
spots
Wasn't he
on daily
was he on the?
shows.
Yeah, the Daily Show. That's right.
I would not know. I can't watch.
The only thing I remember him for is that video where Whoopi said "fuck you" to him during a roundtable, and you can see how it was like it ruined his life for a split second.
Nice. Hi, Josie. Hey, Popcast team. Like we're communicating. Finished reading Paradise in Plain Sight by Karen Mazin Miller. Excellent, insightful, and inspirational book by a Zen Buddhist priest. First time watches since last. The fabulous Baron Munchausen. Hausen. Anyway.
Is that different from the Adventures of Baron Munchausen? The William
also watch next.
I guess so.
Okay.
The Great White Hype, Broken Lullaby, The Phantom of the Liberty.
Josie, did you watch Die Hard with a Vengeance? Because you missed last week. I just wanted you, if you want to give,
that was a fun show.
If you want to give brief thoughts on it, feel free.
R.I.P. to legendary Canadian Gordon Pinsent. He was in Away from Her.
Yeah, in his 80s,
Yeah.
I think.
A little bit of information on him. His novel, The Rowdy Man, turned into a classic Canadian film and later a musical. Gordon himself performed in PEI. While living in California, he was friends with Marlon Brando. On one occasion, he and Brando attended a drive-in movie together with Brando's wife and children.
Yeah, I didn't know him before Away from Her, but he left a really strong impression in that movie.
Oh, goodness.
He overshadowed Christie, I think.
Oh, no.
Wow.
I just realised, by you saying that performance got me, there was the one thing that Owen missed last night. Jean Smart couldn't accept her award because she's recovering from heart surgery or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So to accept the award on her behalf, shoot a fucking Gavin. Chris McDonald.
My God.
Yes, and Sandler was in the front, so he and Sandler were like 3 feet apart.
And by the way, if you haven't heard it yet, his Twitter feed is priceless. It's there's these fictitious urban legend stories about Bill Murray meeting people. Kristen McDonald does it completely as Shooter McGavin.
I've heard that, and I've always hoped it was true.
Oh, it's definitely true, 100%. Oh my God, it's so good. Josie's gonna give us a nice little flashback ski from 1993 from the Independent Spirit Awards. I wonder why 93 is being used so much lately. It's interesting.
In the line.
Anyway,
that's what.
Best cinematography. This is probably gonna be a lot of stuff I've never heard of before. Night on Earth.
Nice, the Jarmusch movie.
Defeating all the Vermeers in New York. Laws of Gravity, Light Sweeper, and Swoon. Score went to Angelo Badalamenti, rest in peace, for Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. I remember seeing that on Action pay-per-view. One False Move, Zebrahead, All the Vermeers in New York, and The Tune. Best foreign film went to The Crying Game.
Convenient.
Yeah, beating close to 1 week. Actually,
3 weeks. But
3 weeks.
Free
I don't
TV.
have to do math anymore. Getting Close to Eden, Dan's on Howard's End, and Raise the Red Lantern. Screenplay went to Neil Jimenez for The Water Dance, defeating Gas Food Lodging. Light Sleeper, A Midnight Clear, and One False Move. Supporting female, that's a word. Supporting female went to Alfre Woodard for Passion Fish.
Oh, nice.
Beating Brooke Adams for Gas Food Lodging. Sarah Gilbert for Poison Ivy. I like that movie.
Poison Ivy.
Karen
Wow.
Yes. For Simple Men, and Denitra Vance Jumpin' at Boneyard. I'm guessing that would be Denitra Vance, Jumpin' at Boneyard. That makes sense. Supporting male went to Steve Buscemi for Reservoir Dogs. Good job, Spirits. David Strathairn lost for Passion Fish. William Forsythe for Water Dance. Wesley Snipes for Water Dance, and Jeff Goldblum for Deep Cover. Lead went to Harvey Keitel for Bad Lieutenant. Another great pick. Another movie that I'm kind of surprised never made it to, that is not under consideration, even though there is a really good Versus that exists on this channel that most people skip that on.
Yeah.
Love the Bad Lieutenant movies. Other nods were Lawrence Fishburne for Deep Cover, Peter Green for Laws of Gravity, Craig Chester for Swoon, and one of my personal favorites, Michael Rappaport for Zebrahead. The filmmakers have not been announced. You guys can predict those three.
Yeah, a rarity. They haven't announced them ahead of time, or at least as of us doing these for a change.
Interesting. I wouldn't even know where to start with that one. Spence, go ahead.
Is that a transition? Are we starting?
Nearly.
This is weird. Spencer Reed reads a couple things, and we'll go there. Joan Allen in Room, Justin Long in Going the Distance. Spencer Reed says Pawn Sacrifice, good movie, good time. Veruza Balk for Gas Food Lodging. Edie Falco for Laws of Gravity. That was female lead. Shirley Lee for Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Catherine Keener for Johnny Suede, and Cynthia Williams for One False Move. First feature for The Water Dance. Water Dance beating My New Gun, Swoon, Laws of Gravity, and yes, Reservoir Dogs. It sounds like we have a situation on our hands where a movie that won a lot or should have won a lot didn't do anything, and it was beat by a contender at a Spirit Awards. I wonder what that sounds like. The Hurt Locker wrestler again. Carl Franklin for One False Move for director, beating Allison Anders for Gas Food Lodging, Tom Kalin for Swoon, Abel Ferrara for Bad Lieutenant, and yeah, Tarantino for Reservoir Dogs.
It's so weird to read a Spirit Awards list where the movies actually, you can tell the movies are independent.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Again, indie movies sometimes are too pretentious for me, like Upstream Color, director, what a knob.
Shane Carruth, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Best feature to the player. Beating Bad Lieutenant, Gas Food Lodging, Mississippi and Masala, which she just watched and loved, in One False Move. Why is Reservoir Dogs on that list? I'll never know.
So the player gets best feature, but
Nothing
not
else.
nominated for anything else.
Nope. I smell collusion. I smell it real bad.
Yeah, this nomination-wise, the Spirit Awards have always been fucked up. It turns out.
Absolutely. Speaking of weirdness, cinematography, Ed Lockman from Far From Heaven. Other nods were to Interview with an Assassin, Personal Velocity, Gary, and Narc. Narc got nominated for a Spirit Award.
Did you say The Velocity of Gary? I thought that movie was a lot older than that.
It says Personal Velocity, and then it says Gary.
Oh, there's a movie called The Velocity of Gary with Vincent D'Onofrio. I don't know if that's related to anything that's going on here or not.
Nope.
All right.
Best debut performance, Nia Vardalos for My Big Fat Greek Wedding. There we go.
When did? I missed when we went to 2000. I heard Far From Heaven. I was like, are we in 2002 now? I guess we are. I think I missed that part.
3.
Well, yeah, for 2002 movies. Yeah.
Beating Raven Goodwin for Lovely and Amazing, Bob Burns Tully, Bob Burns for Tully, weird. Arnold Great for Dahmer, and America Ferrara for Real Women. have curves. I love that movie, actually. I'm a big mark for her. Best documentary, Bowling for Columbine. You know it. Beating How to Draw a Bunny, The Cockettes, Devil's Playground, and Stevie. First feature was Dangerous Life of Older Boys. I remember a lot of this stuff. I remember like putting on the shelves at Hollywood. Interview with Assassin, Manito, Roger Dodger. There we go. Paid in full. First screenplay went to Secretary. Over Igby Goes Down, Kissing Jessica Stein, Hysterical Blindness, and Interview with an Assassin. Foreign film for Y Tu Mama Tambien, which beat Bloody Sunday from Paul Greengrass, The Fast Runner, The Piano Teacher, and Time Out.
English films considered foreign. Yet when
You
it gets
know
to
it.
all the other award ceremonies, oh no, it's in American. We'll allow it.
Okay, so we got all. Thanks everyone for your comments in chat, and feel free to continue to do so as we progress through this futile exercise, which is the Independent Spirit Awards. So as we've seen, the Spirit Awards have been very apropos of a title because they've been very spirited in their choices. They don't always try to predict what the bigger award shows are going to say. Sometimes they go their own way.
Well,
but this year, I don't think it's going to be the thing.
Yeah, when they're doing their nominees, they do that. When they're doing their winners, the whole season has happened in between the nominees, and so they're like, okay, now that we did our own thing with nominees, let's do what everybody else is saying for winners. Yep. If we have that option.
This is correct. And this year, unfortunately, we do. All right, so we are going to start out with the Independent Spirit Awards predictions now. Very non-ceremonious because it's a non-ceremonious show.
Well, I assume we're doing these emerging filmmakers ones first.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that makes the most sense.
Starting from the bottom at Truer Than Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work.
All right. Don't know how to say this first title. That's great. We have Isabel Castro for. Anybody want to take a stab?
Miha makes sense because the J is probably an H.
Yeah.
Reed Davenport for I Didn't See You There, and Rebecca Hunt for Biba or something.
Biba, Las Vegas.
Point being, respect all these people, by the way. I don't want this to sound, yeah. I'm gonna say Reed Davenport because I Didn't See You There is the only thing with a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, you have the same thought process I had.
I mean, I looked at all three. I went into the IMDb thing, but I think Reed Davenport sort of like depiction of like doing a documentary from the actual camera viewpoint of a disabled person in a chair is actually pretty good, because that's what it's all about. It's about sort of like awareness of like things like this and not just like disregarding it and just not focusing on it. So having that sort of all from sort of like wheelchair view, whether it was on the handle or sort of like a head cam, which obviously would be lower down than an able person.
Is it like the Diving Bell and the Butterfly or something?
No, it's a documentary.
In documentary form, essentially.
To some extent, but it's more sort of like him having to negotiate sort of like various things in his life, things that you'd have thought as a disabled person. Basically, there's his apartment has a circus tent show up outside, and so he thinks back to P.T. Barnum's sort of freak show, and think back to Todd Browning with Freaks.
Yeah, definitely.
And sort of how that stereotyped a lot of disabled people.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. But like and he's showing it from sort of his viewpoint. So the point of view camera stuff is sort of like from his own point, and then of course, some of the places that he's sort of looking at don't even have wheelchair accessible stuff. So he can't even get in, and it's a hassle to for some people to like do stuff. So it's that sort of stuff, and I think that needs to be shed a light on. Not that the other two don't, but I think the fact that the film only played in theaters that were wheelchair accessible, which seems to, which is obviously the big thing that affected Sundance this year, and it was one of the big ones. It won the documentary category at last year's Sundance, and apparently it aired on public television as part of season 35 of POV on PBS last month. That's why I sort of went with it. I think it's good to see minorities sort of getting it out there and realizing that there's still work to be done. Basically what Sally Field said. I can champion all my rights all I want, but I can see people that have had to do much more than I have done and are still only just sort of like struggling to get to sort of the table. I wonder if that was targeted at all the people that got snubbed for Ana de Armas and Andrea Riseborough at the Oscars.
So AJ just says, "Oh, that's a Wikipedia page." And Ashley threw out this huge long diatribe about something because he actually did research. I'm with AJ on this one. Yeah, it's the only one that has a Wikipedia page. That makes me think that makes sense. However, the fact that we had to fight so hard to pronounce the first one makes me think that might be in contention as well.
Yeah, and I hate to undermine everything that's just been said, but I'm probably gonna have to pick up the pace because it started raining so loud I had to turn my volume up, and the weather thing down here says heavy thunderstorm, so I'm probably gonna be gone whether I like it or not.
All right, we'll save chat for a little bit later then.
So are we Producers Award next? Oh.
I have someone to watch next.
Oh, someone to watch next.
All right, for someone to watch, we have Adonai for Hung for Jesus Save Your Soul. You're killing me, Spirit Awards.
Nikiatu Jusu.
Thank you for Nanny and
Araceli Lemos.
All right.
Early Emmy.
I really liked this movie, and it did not get the reception or the just in general attention that it deserved. So whether it's going to be the right answer or not, I'm just going to back Hung for Jesus. Just because I support the movie.
So you're going with a very me way of dealing with things this time around.
Well, that, and I don't know what the other two are at all. There's a movie I've seen and love, and there's two that I have no idea what they are.
That's a fair assessment. Ashley, what do you got?
Which is why I'm championing Nanny. It's a horror film with a difference because it does like some really good stuff, and it doesn't feel like it's a Blumhouse thing. I don't think it is, even though it is on Amazon, at least in the UK. It's nice, innovative horror that like Jordan Peele had better sort of like get on the board with and like produce stuff with her. Because
I do need to also say real quick, I do feel like a piece of shit when I do it this way. Because we talk about how mainstream the Spirit Awards are now instead of putting the spotlight on stuff nobody's heard of. And so that's what we're making fun of right now, is them putting a spotlight on things that nobody's heard of, which is what we want. So yeah, I do feel like a piece of shit sometimes when we're trying to do the prediction thing, but that's the way it is.
To be fair with Nanny, it only showed up on Prime Video, I think, like Christmas time.
I said when you started describing it, it sounded a little familiar, like a bell rang.
Yeah.
Okay. So we move on because it makes perfect sense to me as well. I never got a chance to see this movie. AJ put it over huge. And Adam Ebo for Honk for Jesus. I was moving on. I was like, I don't care anymore. Producers Award.
All right. Ashley, would you like to list these off?
We have Liz Cardenas, Tori Lenowski, and David Grove Churchill Vista.
Why does he have 4 names? Pick a name. Just pick a name.
At least he doesn't have. At least he doesn't have 2 first names, or 3 first names, or 4 first names.
Yes, he does.
I don't know any. I know of Grover, but not Grove.
I don't know.
So the first name looks somewhat familiar to me, so I'm going to say her.
Your first name looks somewhat familiar to you. All right. Okay. No. Unless you watched dog movies called Adventures of Bailey. You know those movies you find in the bin at like Walmart at like 3 a.m?
Well, I think that's my official choice, so that's unfortunate. If that's what we're working with.
Which is it?
It is your official choice.
Which one was?
All right.
Which one was your official choice, AJ?
Liz Cardenas.
I went with Tori Lenowski because it looks like she's like come through the system. Because she was sort of like production assistant on like Warrior and X-Men First Class and things like that, and Eastern Promises actually. And,
okay, so yeah, that's probably right.
And has now actually got into producing movies for herself. So I don't know whether they're going to credit like somebody that's been producing for a while, and is just getting recognition now, or whether they're going somebody that's actually gone through sort of like the churn of the system for like 10-15 years and is now actually getting to produce stuff. So that's why I went with Tori on that one.
Yeah, for no reason that I'm going to feel comfortable talking about on here, I'm also going to go with Tori. I will say that I wasn't aware that it was a female, because when I think of the Y spelling of that name, it's usually male.
Yeah, you think of like Tori Kittles immediately or something. I wouldn't.
No, I think of Mythbusters.
No,
that's the first Tori with a Y that comes to my mind.
Also, of course, Tori did apparently was involved with a film called Shit Yeah. So
there you go. That gives me a reason to vote for it. I can't say it, but yeah, let's go.
You know, and the key thing is Liz Cardenas' like big film is she was a producer on Ghost Story from a few years back, which is like, well, why didn't she get her flowers then?
Well, speaking of flowers, we'll get to that category in a little bit.
Yeah, so things are weird. Okay, so they've separated the Cassavetes Award, but do we want to do TV first? Because it'd be weird to do the Cassavetes Award, go to TV, then go back to movies.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Hold on. Cassavetes. I just have it as, is there 2 Cassavetes Awards this year?
No.
There's the Cassavetes and the Altman, which we already know.
I just want to do Cassavetes. It's the next one in the order.
If you want to go movies, TV movies, we can. Whatever you want to do.
Well, we already technically
Cassavetes is the next one in the order. It's the special award, and then we get the TV crap out of the way, and then we finish with movies.
Because Cassavetes used to be amongst the general awards. I don't know why it's down here now.
there's been a lot of fun movies that we have had to watch because of being nominated for Cassavetes too.
They keep comically raising I think we talked about this when the nominations came out. They keep comically raising how you're eligible for the Cassavetes Award.
Yeah, the budget's gone from $500,000 to $1 million now.
It's $1 million.
And I think before we were in like the 5 digits. I think the 5 digits is where it started.
Yes. This movie was made for $15 in a cardboard box somewhere in Fresno, California.
And you still haven't watched it. It's called Who Killed Captain Alex?
God dang. Easy.
All right. If it's less confusing, we'll do Cassavetes.
Well, it's just the order of it. I don't care about the list. Then it goes to TV, then it goes to movies. So I'm just going with the order of Wiki.
We've got the African Desperate, the Cathedral. Oh, did we lose that one?
Uh-oh.
Good Lord.
Panic.
No, I got a phone call in the midst of shows.
Oh.
Yeah. I kayfabed that. Sorry, Tim. We're live. We're done in like an hour and a half, maybe.
The Cathedral, Holy Emily, a love song, Something in the Dirt. I'm going to say a love song.
Okay. Yeah. A love song. Did we all say the same thing?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Having looked at the write-up for love song, it feels very La La Land-esque.
All right, let's get into the names I actually studied.
Oh, it's TV time, isn't it? Oh crap!
I didn't go down far enough when I was doing that.
Oh, by the way, of course, Ensemble Cast went to Pachinko.
Yes. So we want to make sure to show respect to all these people who are being honored, and that's why I try to learn how to say the names I'm not familiar with. Like I said, I just didn't go down far enough. So I always forget about those bottom awards.
God.
You know, the ones that the commercial break awards.
Yeah.
All right, because TV and movies the Spirit Awards have just in general decided to do this combining genders. So it's just lead performance with 10 slots and supporting performance with 10 slots.
This is stupid. This is stupid. Because you're going to screw one of the genders regardless. And you're not going to give an award to somebody that could be because another gender won. Does it make any sense?
It's like we were saying, at least in the movies, distribution was all over the place.
Yeah, that's not a lie. Let's get this TV out of the way. Thank God there's only 4 categories.
But saying names is going to take longer than everything else.
I don't like the word everything. I'm not allowed to say it anymore.
For supporting performance in a new scripted series, we have Danielle Deadweiler for Station 11.
Oh boy.
God, I don't know why her name is a tongue twister to me. Ayo Adebari for The Bear. Jeff Hiller for Somebody Somewhere. I had to learn this one. The G is silent. So it's Bemisole Camelo for A League of Their Own. Janelle James for Abbott Elementary. Evan Moss Backrack for The Bear. Frankie
Kionis.
Yeah, Kionis, yes. It literally looks like it's spelled. You just have to sound it out.
That's a wrestling promoter from Puerto Rico. It's easy to remember.
For this full, Shirley Ralph for Abbott Elementary, Molly Shannon for I Love That For You, and Tramel Tillman for Severance. I Love That For You was recommended to me, and then I forgot about it. You will notice, like I said, they like to play follow the leader with their wins, even if not their nominees. But you'll notice that Abbott Elementary is not at the top. It's not in series itself.
That's a little...
So that made me want to go away from Abbott Elementary when doing these acting ones. So I went to The Bear. So I have it between Ayo Edebiri or Evan Moss Backrack, and I'm gonna say Edebiri, I think.
Edebiri. Okay, cool. Ashley, what do you got? Best supporting performance in a new scripted series.
I followed the take a shot.
Yes.
Sheryl Ralph for Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
You went with who for Abbott Elementary?
Sheryl Ralph.
Okay. That's who I thought you'd go with. And since there's no other way to do it, because all the award shows obviously hate me this year, except for the BAFTAs, weirdly enough, and my favorite performance can't get the recognition it deserves, why not give it to her for something else? Danielle Deadweiler for Station 11.
I could totally see that happen. Station 11 is in series too, so that could totally happen for sure.
Yes.
All right, lead performance.
You get to say a really funny title in a minute.
Oh yes, I do. Kind of a fun name to go along with it too.
Yes, that's an actual statement.
No, I can't stop laughing now because I'm anticipating.
Oh man.
Okay, we have Emma Mean for The Porter, Muhammad Amr for Mo, Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, Bridget Everett for Somebody Somewhere, Chameleon for Rap Shit.
Yes.
Melanie Linsky for Yellow Jackets, Hamish Patel for Station 11, Sue Ampian for As We See It, Adam Scott for Severance, and Ben Whishaw for This Is Going to Hurt. I would have said Melanie Linsky because she just kind of has... I feel like the Spirit Awards and independent things in general are in her DNA. But I went a little more high profile and said Adam Scott.
All right. Ashley?
Same here. I also went with Adam Scott.
I had Quinta Brunson for a second, and then I realized, hey, they don't really seem like they liked Abbott Elementary that much to nominate it for the actual series award. So I was like, no, let's just go with what seems to be the old faithful, and that's Adam Scott for Severance.
I'm telling you, I still feel like they're gonna play follow the leader when it comes to winners. They're still gonna say Quinta Brunson and probably Sheryl Ralph, even though it's not in series and it's gonna look really weird in retrospect. But I don't think they care.
No, clearly they don't, because they're the award show that is the Whose Line Is It Anyway? It just doesn't matter.
All right, best new non-scripted or documentary series.
Why not?
Children of the Underground, Mind Over Murder, Pepsi, Where's My Jet, The Rehearsal, and we need to talk about Cosby. Was Children of the Underground not here last year?
I don't think
it says new, so it couldn't have been, but I don't know, it just seems really familiar. But that's what I'm going to say, Children of the Underground.
What?
Ashley, what do you got?
Wasn't it had a similar title to the Underground Railroad, the Amazon thing?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
This is definitely not about the Underground Railroad.
No.
Not even close.
I went with Rehearsal because the concept of that show is like incredible.
I almost did.
Half the stuff is like improv, but then half of it isn't, and you don't know which is which. It's like...
Yeah,
well,
Nathan Fielder's another one of those people where like all of his stuff has been recommended to me, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I mean, my first instinct was going for Pepsi, Where's My Jet, just because of what it is. And I feel like we need to talk about Cosby as an interesting concept. But I have it narrowed down to 2. And I think I'm going to go Mind Over Murder. Because I think it makes sense for us to split a point here. Because Children of the Underground was actually an option too, but it was my other option I could go with. And I was like, let's go with Mind Over Murder. Let's go.
Ready to finish TV for the season?
Thank God. Let's take this home.
All right. For Best New Scripted Series, we have The Bear, Pachinko, The Porter, Severance, and Station 11. I genuinely feel like it could be at least 3 of these.
Yes.
It could be The Bear, Severance, or Station 11. Once again, I'm going high profile. I'd say this one's even more high profile than The Bear. I would say Severance. Severance is the most high profile.
I think Pachinko got its flowers with its award already, so you don't really need to give it both.
Yeah.
Ashley, what do you got?
The Bear.
Oh, dang. We gotta split this one. Severance. Finally over.
All right, and
not just, hang on. What was it? Fucking last year. I'm trying to check last year. Yeah, you can't honestly say that because last year Best Ensemble went to Reservation Dogs and it won Best New Scripted Series.
Oh, that's
so
right.
We do have history of. I don't know whether I May Destroy You did it the year before. I can't remember. Yes, it did. So everything that won the ensemble has then also won Best New Thing, which is like, then why are you giving them 2 awards? Mix it up for fuck's sake.
Yeah, please do. We got one more big award show. Mix it up.
You don't do it for women talking in any of the movies.
Oh my God. Alright, hold on. I gotta keep the chat.
Oh, hold on.
I'm pretty sure the storm is here, so I need to...
No, I wanted to make sure I copied it so I could go over it after you leave.
Oh my God. Yep, there went a trash can. That was definitely a trash can.
12 categories to go.
It's 10 Cloverfield laning this shit. Oh no.
Dude, can you guys hear that?
No.
I heard the trash can slam against the wall.
We're trying. All right. Move on to movies. We got 12 categories.
We might have to pick this back up in Oz when I get to Munchkin Land, but otherwise it'll be good. All right, let's go. Let's start with editing.
I heard that, so we're good.
Okay, you can hear me still, right? I can barely hear you over this.
Oh shit.
That's not
okay.
I will get closer to the mic in that case.
AJ, right now, get your predictions ready. Write them down just in case.
I mean, these. I feel like these are pretty easy. The only thing I'm struggling with is international. Everything else I feel like is pretty easy.
Okay. So it's
editing.
Editing, we have Marcel, The Cathedral, After Sun, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Tar. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Ashley.
I went with Tar.
Tar.
That's okay.
It's one or the other at this point.
Okay, I feel like I'm doing the action movie version of predictions, like I'm racing some sort of clock or something.
Simon says, "Get your predictions in for 11 more categories."
All right, here we go. Cinematography, we have Tar, Marina, After Sun, Pearl, and Neptune Frost. Tar.
I
went with After Sun.
I was gonna say I do see After Sun doing this as well, but
I want it to be Pearl.
That's the correct answer, but
mainly because then there'll be an excuse for me to actually see it in the cinema when it opens on St. Patrick's Day. Screw Shazam, screw Rye Lane, and screw whatever the other one was that will actually be good as well. I can't remember.
Yeah. And for as well as it did here otherwise, Bodies was snubbed here.
Agreed. Hate that movie, but agreed. International film.
We have Corsage, Joyland, Lunar Will Never Die, Return to Seoul, and Saint Omer. I feel like it's between 3, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, my gut instinct was Return to Seoul, but then I was going to Corsage, but then I kind of went to Saint Omer, and I don't know where the fuck I am or what I'm doing. My very first choice was always going to be Return to Seoul, which I'm not saying. So if it should be Return to Seoul, I want that to be known.
That's fair.
I'll say Saint Omer.
Okay. Interesting. Ashley.
I'm sticking with Corsage like I have done for a lot of the run. Mainly because I want something here that wins that won't be in the Oscar hunt, although I think none of them are.
I'm going to join Ashley in that and say Corsage as well.
All right. Are we... Shit, we're... Oh, documentary.
Yes.
We went from no Oscar nominees in international to 3 Oscar nominees in documentary.
Okay.
We have All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, A House Made of Splendors, Midwives, and Bridesville, USA. I'm saying All the Beauty and the Bloodshed.
Ashley?
Yeah, I think this will be an All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. Although if it is All That Breathes, literally everything has won one award, and that's going to make it really fucking interesting in 2 words.
Yeah, I concur with the panel. All the Beauty and Bloodshed.
All right, so the first... for first screenplay, we have Fire Island, Palm Trees and Power Lines, Emergency, Bodies, 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 and Emily the Criminal. Love hearing the words Power Lines and Emergency right now.
Oh, right, God. That's a fair assessment. Oh, man.
It should be Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's probably going to be fucking Emily the Criminal. So that's what I'm saying.
Ashley?
I went with Bodies, 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 but I am double guessing whether Fire Island might get this, even though it is just another Austin reboot.
I'm going against... I've been picking movies I don't like all season. I might as well continue. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Nice. I would love to see that.
I know you would.
All right. Here's an easy one. First feature, we have After Sun, Emily the Criminal, The Inspection, Marina, Palm Trees and Power Lines. Okay, so my answer is After Sun. Just my immediate go-to, don't even have to think about an answer. But now looking at it, I wonder if The Inspection is being underestimated.
Possible.
But I'm saying After Sun.
Ashley?
Unsurprisingly, I'm going After Sun as well.
I'm also going to go with After Sun.
All right. Screenplay in general. Screenplay, we have Catherine Called Birdie, Tar, After Yang, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Women Talking, which are all written by their directors.
That's cool.
I'm saying the Daniels.
Ashley?
I'm sticking with the Daniels as well, but like, I am it'll be interesting to see what wins here, because I don't think is Tar at WGA, or is it ineligible? I can't remember. Oh, it is. Okay. So
if anybody would beat the Daniels here, it would be Todd Field.
Since the Oscars are not going to help me out, maybe Spirits will. I'm going with Todd Field.
Wow. Is that out of defiance or is that a true prediction?
I think this might actually be his big win. Because it's the Spirit Award, so anything's possible.
All right. Got to bring back my education from earlier today. Oh,
God. I have to do this, don't I?
For breakthrough performance, we have Frankie Correa for After Sun, Grazia Filipovic for Marina, Stephanie Shu for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Lily McInerney for Palm Trees and Power Lines, and Daniel Gaudry for Funny Pages. In any other universe, this would be Frankie Correa, except for the fact that Stephanie Shu is here. So I'm saying Stephanie Hsu.
Ashley.
It's a shame that this might be the only chance she gets recognition, because it's Jamie Lee Curtis will get more of a credit because of the career. But I think Stephanie did a good job, and I guess technically they did confirm that she will be performing the Son Lux and David Byrne song at the Oscars in 2 weeks. So.
Oh, great! Another thing I can not have to watch. This feels wrong. I'll have to go with Stephanie.
All right, because things are the way they are, we're almost done.
I wasn't two minds between Stephanie and Frankie, to be honest, but
honestly, Frankie is your only upset possibility, but it's not happening. Just like there's not a lady that's going to win Best Supporting Performance the way they split them up like this.
Yeah, it's like it feels like such a it's such a long list for what we already know.
No reason to even say it. Just go ahead. Who's jobbing to Ki Kwan?
Ki Kwan will be defeating. Well, I don't. This is what I said about BAFTA. So
I forgot.
I need to watch myself, but no, I feel good. I feel good. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna fucking say it. Ki Kwan will beat Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Ever All at Once, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Nina Hoss for Tar, Brian Darcy James for The Cathedral, Trevante Rhodes for Bruiser, Theo Rossi for Emily the Criminal, Mark Reynolds for Bones and All, Jonathan Tucker for Palm Trees and Power Lines, and Gabrielle Union for The Inspection.
All right. Ashley, does there even really need to say it?
Encino Man.
Ki Kwan.
So, I have a choice for lead performance, but they could do something wild here if they wanted to. They've got a couple of options.
I see a few. I could see a few surprises here.
Because the thing that's immediately jumping out at me is, even though I was giving them shit for basically playing Follow the Leader, they were the ones that picked Riz Ahmed over Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and of course, one of the key favourites, at least in the male front, Brendan Fraser, isn't even in the 10. Even though it's clearly independent because it's A24. And Everything Ever All at Once is literally everywhere in this ceremony.
Yeah, so what we're looking at is we've got Kate Blanchett for Tar, Dale Dickey for A Love Song, Mia Goth for Pearl, Regina Hall for Hung for Jesus, Paul Mescal for After Sun, Aubrey Paulson for Emily the Criminal, Jeremy Pope for The Inspection, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Taylor Russell for Bones and All, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Ever All at Once. So this clearly, my choice is Michelle Yeoh. But obviously it's still Yeoh versus Blanchett until, like, from now till Oscar time, it's still Yeoh versus Blanchett. Though the two other Oscar nominees here with Paul Mescal and Andrea Riseborough, I could almost see happening, especially, like, the thing about it is, I would say not Riseborough because these aren't her Hollywood friends voting, as far as I know.
Ooh.
But does the Spirit Awards want the headline of picking her? Because that would get a lot of attention.
That is a very good
to
point.
me, the magic story is Kate Blanchett did so much so campaigning for Riseborough that basically they split their own votes, and that's how Michelle wins. So Blanchett sabotaged her own campaign. So
the thing about it, the thing that kind of sucks is that we know who would win actor if they were split up. And the thing about it is that even if he wasn't Oscar nominated, and if they were split up, when you just look at Spirit Awards history, Paul Mescal and After Sun is the kind of performance that screams Spirit Award winner. But yeah, since we're clearly choosing between the actresses, I don't know what I'm building up here. I already said Michelle Yeoh.
You're trying to wait out the storm.
It's these things are fucking sneaky because it seems like it's died down right now, but they always fucking come back.
That's how hurricanes work too, AJ. I know this from experience.
It's just like, oh, good. It's time to relax. Everything's quiet. Everything's good now. The sky explodes like 5 minutes later.
And it sucks because to make male and female share the same category, it's awesome. But it also screws one of the genders because no one's beaten Quan, and lead's not going to go to a guy. So, it screws the other sex's performance.
This is basically one of the worst years they could have picked to start this.
I mean, if they had it as like 5 men and 5 women submitted, I think that'd be less of an issue. But because you had supporting be a 7-3 in favor of men, and lead be an 8-2 in favor of women, it's sort of, you know. Then again, those that are sort of the other women probably wouldn't have got any recognition otherwise if you didn't put the list. Which makes me wonder whether Mia Goth would have made it in.
Screw the people that are winning. The fact that we got nominations for Mia Goth and Taylor Russell and Mark Rylance just is great to me.
Yeah.
Ashley, what are you going with?
Yep.
Blanchett.
It's still an even playing field right now.
I think the spirits are going to give me one last bit of hope, like the BAFTAs did. But I was more expecting the BAFTAs to give me a little bit of joy. The spirits could go either way. It could be another love fest, or it could just be something completely different that we're not predicting. That's happened every year.
Yeah, there's also the thing where people could be saying now it's going to be Yo because Everything Everywhere All at Once is so clearly the picture winner now.
Don't remind me.
But we live in a world where Michael Keaton didn't win for Birdman. And Birdman was, I feel like once the guilds came out, Birdman's picture win was pretty clear by the time it happened.
Oh, yeah. All right. 2 categories left since AJ's got a brewing.
Yeah, the Thunder fucking came back, so here we go.
Oh.
We got a really good lineup here, a very solid lineup.
I don't like nearly any of these movies.
We got Todd Field for Tar, Kogonada for After Yang, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Sarah Polley for Women Talking, and Helena Rain for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies in a wonderfully inspired bit. The Daniels, obviously. What if these are the Tar Awards? What if that happens? It won't, but what if?
I went with Daniels on this one as well.
Well, we're going to change the category for this year from Best Director to Director because there's nothing best about the Daniels. So I refuse to call them Best Anything. So, yeah.
No, it's. I just realized it's weird to do this after last year, since no movies that I wrote are in this lineup this time.
Yeah.
These are all things I'd never seen 5 years in advance. Are we ready for the final one?
Yes. And then we'll do chat, and then we'll take this home, and then we got a QA tomorrow.
Because Best Feature always has, here's the 4 you've heard of.
Bones and All!
And here's the random one.
Thank you, Bones and All.
Yeah, Bones and All, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Our Father the Devil, Tar, and Women Talking. Remember when these came out, and the only thing we'd seen was Everything Everywhere All at Once, and all the other movies seemed so far away.
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, obviously.
Ashley.
Lines
Oh
are
no.
moving. Lines are moving.
I swear if you pull out hot dog fingers, I'm going to the UK and I'm super kicking your face off.
I haven't got hot dog fingers. All I've got is.
Yeah, that's what I think of the award season this year, by and large, with a couple of notable exceptions.
I just got the chin lock on. Yeah, if Women Talking wins this, again it establishes why the hell we have the Ultimate Award. So I'm going Everything Everywhere.
The correct answer is Bones and All, but it's not in contention.
Well, remember 2019 when The Farewell won Best Picture with nothing else?
Yeah, but it did really well in its nominations. Well, it did well with its acting nominations. It didn't do anything else otherwise. Now the stupid multiverse movie.
I do like the fact Our Father the Devil was in here and it doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
Probably doesn't have a release date, to be quite honest. That's usually how this works. Apparently, while this show was going on, there was a notification. That's the reason I got a phone call. Tim ordered me crumble cookies, so I will have them delivered to my door in like 10 minutes. So I was like, yes, very nice. Thank you, Tim. I see you chimed in the chat. Sorry we're doing a show. AJ, join us for as long as you can.
Huh?
Word for the chat real quick before we go.
I can't imagine there's a shitload. We're talking about the Spirit Awards. I can't be too busy.
Josie continued with the awards from, I think, 2003. Best Supporting went to Emily Mortimer for Lovely and Amazing, beating Jacqueline Kim for Charlotte Sometimes, Julianne Nicholson Tully for Tully, and Viola Davis for Antoine Fisher, and Juliette Lewis for Hysterical Blindness.
We didn't mention the screenplay as well. I don't think we mentioned.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I just remember foreign. We got to foreign film because E Tu Mama Tambien.
No, I got screenplay in.
Mike White.
Yeah, we'll get there. Dennis Quaid wins for Far From Heaven, beating Ray Liotta for Narc, Alan Arkin for 13 Conversations About One Thing, Peter Weller for Ivan's Ecstasy, and John C. Reilly for Good Girl. Ensemble. Oh, thanks, Brian. Cassavetes Award went to Personal Velocity, beating Dahmer, Charlotte Sometimes, Ivan's Ecstasy, and The Slaughter Ride. Male League for Derek Luke for Antoine Fisher.
Nice.
Danny Houston for Ivan's Ecstasy, Jeremy Renner for Dahmer, Campbell Scott for Roger Dodger, Graham Greene for Skins. Julianne Moore won for Far From Heaven, beating Parker Posey for Personal Velocity. Jennifer Aniston for The Good Girl, Catherine Keener for Lovely and Amazing, and Maggie Gyllenhaal for Secretary. That's a good lineup. That's a really good lineup, actually. Director for Todd Haynes for Far From Heaven, beating Gus Van Sant for Jerry, Nicole Holofcener for Lovely and Amazing, Bernard Rose for Ivan's Ecstasy, and Joe Carnahan for Narc.
Nice.
Best Feature went from Far From Heaven, Secretary, Tully, Lovely and Amazing, and The Good Girl. Secretary trivia. Boss's name is Mr. Gray. Obviously the main character in 50 Shades, which has similar subject matter.
So basically, she took her Twilight fanfic and went, let's take the guy from Secretary.
Pretty much. Gwyneth Paltrow was originally Lee Holloway.
I don't know if I can picture that.
No, not now. Producers asked Maggie Gyllenhaal to wear a protective pad during spanking scenes. Only on the Popcast Network, folks. 2 posters were made for this film. One showing James Spader and Maggie Gyllenhaal, and the other showing a model from behind bending over.
Yeah, the model. Which one did they use the most in the UK?
I'm pretty sure the model bending over is my DVD cover.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the one that they used a shit ton of.
Apparently it was someone that was dating her ex-boyfriend. Spencer says, don't hate the player, hate the game. Brian says, how is Abbott Elementary independent series when it's on a mainstream TV network?
Who the fuck knows anymore what independent is?
Dear Lord, there's no answer to that. Spencer says, I think Ki Kwan not getting any work for many years should have us all thanking everything, some appreciation. This man should be acting. Hi, Tim. You get the Cassie roll tonight. Spencer says, I understand not liking a movie. How can you deny Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Ki Kwan are not great actors, deserve their flowers for their talent? I hate that movie. I don't care, Spencer. They are great actors, and I will not deny that. I just hate
I got to tell you, Spencer, I tried. I gave him a crash course on Tar, and I was able to turn him around, but I tried like fuck. I said all the reasons in great detail. What's great about those performances and why, even if I'm not that connected to it either, how it's connecting in this very emotional way is pretty clear to me, but he's not budging, apparently.
He tried. He was wide awake.
I offered.
He was caffeinated. He had food. He was away from other people. It was a packed theater, but I was away from other people so I could focus.
And I offered to write you that essay I've been threatening to write about just Ki Kwan's performance. I could give you like 5 pages.
I know.
Of just Ki Kwan's performance. and you, yeah. You're solidified.
Put them in another movie, and then maybe I'll like it. I wonder with the acting, and don't let those hacks direct it. I wonder with the acting categories that the spirits of the winners will be mostly male or mostly female. Josie, I feel like it's probably be mostly female for the most part. It's not going to be an even split, not even close. Or would you lean? I mean, I wouldn't lean. I don't think it's an even split.
What are we talking about?
If you put all the categories together for acting at the Spirit Awards, if the winners will be mostly male or female.
You mean like they are now? Because my predictions are even split. I've got an actress in leading and an actor in supporting, and then in TV I have an actor in leading and an actress in supporting.
I just went with what sounded right in my head.
Which I didn't even do on purpose, by the way. I'm just realizing that in real time.
Brian says the House Made of Splinters does have a subject of the pre-Russian-Ukrainian war that could pull off the win since Navalny is not here. Possible. And you do. It looks like you're getting the last word here because I don't see anything.
I actually feel like.
Oh, you know.
I feel like we've learned lately, and like in past shows, that how current events relate tends to be overthought.
Sometimes, yeah.
And how they don't. That doesn't really influence.
The only problem was with Oscar voting, considering the voting goes live on Thursday. So they've had the 2 months to think about it.
So, Brian asked if Women Talking loses WGA and then also loses screenplay at the Spirits, is that a good sign for All Quiet to win adapted?
Because Women Talking is more vulnerable than it seemed.
Yeah.
Not to Glass Onion like we thought like a month and a half ago.
And Spencer gets the last word. Just watch the Bad Lieutenant versus. I did not skip that one. I skipped nothing. AJ's got someone that are not on this channel anymore that he asked me nicely to put on private, and I did. So those are the only ones you've never seen because they were all bit, and then they have been taken away, put into the abyss where they will never come out again.
Just because they're either going to be redone. I think the only one I've actually planned on redoing, I actually did redo, was Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice.
Yep.
Everything else has been like, yeah, I'll get to that at some point.
We'll get, speaking of that, we'll get there in a minute. Once again, that is your Independent Spirit Awards predictions. Once again, thank you to Josie, thank you to Brian, thank you to Spencer Reed. Thanks, Tim, for dropping in for a minute. Literally, my cookies are at the door, apparently. I'll get them in a minute. So yeah, tomorrow, QA show. as always, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Depending on how the chat's flowing, I may have to cut the chat like 30 minutes in. Depends the circumstance. I guess we'll see. So, should be a fun show though. And of course, we're back here. God, this could be a busy week. This is like super busy week. Because of course, Sunday's the AEW pay-per-view. And then Monday, it's All Quiet on the Western Front. And then we're doing, before that, Saturday night, we're doing the Spirit Awards recap. And then, like I said, AEW Revolution on Sunday, which doesn't affect the channel at all, other than the fact that I don't do content on those days. Monday, of course, will be our Oscar predictions. Tentative start time, I'm going to say somewhere between like 8 and 9. Might be before that, just depends on how long it takes me to get back. Movie's what, like 2.5?
Yeah, it's like 2:25 by itself. That's probably, I think it's like 8 minutes of credits, maybe. You can chop off of that.
Yeah, I'm not watching that. I'll just get up and leave. Because I have to get home. But I took the day off, so the movie's at 4:15, and once it's over, I'll head directly home. Loosely takes about 45 minutes to get home, which probably call AJ, chat with him on the way, so we could I can talk to him about the movie for a minute before we go live for the Oscar predictions. I think that makes sense, because that's what I do when I leave that theater. I just talk to AJ on the way, because people don't mess with you when you're talking on the phone. Nice. It's a nice thing. So yeah, that's gonna lead us to Popcast Movie Club on Tuesday with my pick, The Great White Hype. So that's gonna be a fun time. Week after, of course, is the Oscars, and then on Monday we're throwing you a QA, and then we'll get back to normal ski. Ashley has more snack stashes forthcoming. I'm trying to formulate the schedule as best I can. We're at the beginning of December right now, which should be finished up real soon. And then you're going to have a cornucopia of various Sippin' Snacks and Voices coverage to get you all the way to present day, minus the shows we've already done. So I'm sorry to everybody that follows me on Twitter. You're going to get a bombardment of stuff in case you missed it post soon, but don't worry, it'll all be worth it, and we'll have everything caught up officially. Sipping Snacks of stuff you probably never even heard of, from both of us. Ash can be found on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK. And AJ, of course, just like Keith Richards, cannot be killed by conventional weapons and also cannot be found in any form of social media. Maybe he may be attacked by lightning, but maybe not. Hopefully he is impervious to it. Needless to say, we may find out tomorrow. Who knows? AJ's going to look like Yahoo Serious by the time we get started. So
never compare me to him. No.
Okay, I'll go Yakov Smirnoff then. Hat and all. Moscow and the Hudson. Anyway, many random old references there. So yeah, follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney, and more content still to come. AJ's finishing the English and also doing the Santa Clauses. If we can get past that horrid opening, which I'm sure is probably still freaking him out and make him have nightmares.
I have finished the English. It's just a matter of filming it, which is up to the weather now.
Yay.
Yeah.
So we'll get that done, and plenty of stuff still to come. Thanks, live chat, as always. Thanks, archive chat, being there. And in the meantime, thanks, everyone, for joining us for this short but sweet Independent Spirit Awards prediction show. Tomorrow, QA show with the four of us. Should be Chris will be joining us as well. Get your questions in. Leave them in chat before the show starts. I'll copy them, and then we'll have them for later if you don't go live.
I don't think he knows this show's happening.
Oh, that's fair.
I was going to get a hold of him to see what was going on and then go from there.
If anything, it's just going to be the three of us, and we'll keep that question for Chris for the next show.
The reason I don't think he knows is because I kept forgetting there was another Q&A coming.
Well, the only reason we're doing one is because it coincides with the fact that we're just doing 3 shows this week. It's easier to do 3 shows than just do 2. Or 1, which I absolutely hate. I'd much rather just pair.
And as I mentioned, not to do 4 and 5 days next week.
Yeah. Not wrong. So more content still to come on the network. As always, in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Don't forget, stream all your water parks singles on all of your music streaming services. And I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Until next time, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
We survived.